Hello and welcome, I'm Des, and today we'll be continuing our investigation into the dark, bitter world of Twisted Metal Black and the characters in it. We have already covered Mr. Grimm and Preacher, taking a deep dive into their appearances in this game, trying to glean any insights or information into their state of mind and what they could represent artistically or thematically. So if you haven't checked those out already, please do, and make sure to utterly demolish that subscribe button because you don't have to win Twisted Metal to see more content like this. Anyways, without further ado, let's do further with me, Decidue. In Twisted Metal Black, Agent Stone is the driver of Outlaw, which can be confusing since a driver of the same name has appeared in Twisted Metal 1 behind the wheel of Crimson Fury, and as far as I can tell, there is no relationship between the two. However, in tandem with a theory that Twisted Metal Black is a horrific reimagining of the events of Twisted Metal 1, as seen through the eyes of a psychotic clown, there could be something that connects the two Agent Stones, but at the time of this writing, no such connection has surfaced. Outlaw in this game is a police SWAT SUV that looks like a child drew it in a rush. Just 4 wheels and a rectangle level of design here, folks. This was the first time in the series that the iconic Outlaw took on a form other than a police squad car. This is truly the biggest change Outlaw ever had in overall appearance, driver, and subject matter. See, Outlaw up to the point of Black was always piloted by some part of the sibling duo made up of Jamie and Carl Roberts, but here it's a brand new character in a vehicle that shares nothing with its predecessors. Outlaw as an SUV has above average armor and below average speed, but the special weapon is enormously powerful when used to its full capability. When used, if the target is kept in front of Outlaw and the fire button is pressed repeatedly, Agent Stone can launch missiles that deal even more damage. Outlaw is one of my favorite vehicles to use as it remains a great option for beginners who aren't, gamer gods at using Grimm or anything. Agent Stone himself is a SWAT officer assigned as a sniper, since his training revealed that he is an exceptional shot with his rifle. He hails from a long line of law enforcement officers. Both his father and uncle were cops, as was their father. Right out of high school, Agent Stone joined the police force. Agent Stone was the sort of officer that saw lethal force as an absolute last resort. The fact that he could turn the lights off on a human being all at once from a distance was a weight he never lost sight of. He valued human life enough as a cop that to take one away was only when someone else's was endangered. There was a calculation in every event that dictated if there needed to be some human cost, and he made sure it was the bad guys who paid. So long as his mind was right, his ability to strike made for a powerful asset to the police force and the people of Midtown. Agent Stone prides himself on his ability to hit his target just as much as he does his ability to know which targets to hit and when. In those critical moments, he viewed himself as a guardian angel. His story here begins when, one night, his SWAT unit found themselves with the perfect opportunity to take down a doomsday cult they had been aching to dismantle for months. He had a position overlooking the apartments they were holed up in. Locating the targets he needed to clear, he was given the green light by his superior, but at that moment, an uncontrollable rage overtook Agent Stone. In an instant, his judgment became clouded and his actions were no longer preceded by rational thought, a dangerous combination for a man holding a deadly weapon. For years and years, Agent Stone had spent clawing and chipping away at the scum and evil that fills the streets of Midtown like a tiny lantern fighting against a thick, suffocating fog. He may light the area around him, but as soon as he moves along, the darkness pours back in behind him. What point is there to arrest the bad guy only for this corrupted world just to let them walk free a few hours later? The only way to ensure clean stays clean is to banish the dirt from existence. It was this thought that overcame his mind in the moment that changed his life. His rage grew and grew and grew until it crescendoed into a flurry of lead raining down on the apartment building where the doomsday cult were inside. While he may have ended the lives of the cult members, he also did the same to an innocent family huddled in the other room. As someone with pure intentions and an exhaustive desire to act on those intentions, there is no greater pain than realizing you are responsible for unimaginable loss. Agent Stone decided the only way to end the guilt was to end everything. He couldn't live with the mistake he made. The thought of inhaling even one more breath that family couldn't, because of him, was too much to bear. So he took matters into his own hands, but found he didn't have the strength to do it. Agent Stone was taken to Blackfield Asylum as he was deemed no longer fit for duty. He spends his days desperately pleading for redemption, for some way to undo the pain he's caused. One day he's visited by Calypso, who offers him just that, so long as he competes and wins in Calypso's tournament. At the end of his story, Agent Stone is granted his wish, the opportunity to go back to that night his grave mistakes were made, and do things right. Back in position with the sniper, he is given the green light once again, and this time he makes sure every shot hits its target. In his words, the dirtbags were dropping like flies. He takes a look in the other room to see if the family had survived, and to his ultimate delight, they had. He finally made things right, his mistake was undone, and his guilt lifted. but just as a relief washed over him, he is shot in the head by one of the cult members who had somehow survived the attack, killing Agent Stone instantly. As it turns out, to return to the past to fix a grave error, there is a cost. The grave error isn't removed, just transferred. The family got to survive, but it was him who took their place. Resurrection isn't cheap, but for a man with pure intentions, no price is too high. And for a man with pure intention, he wasn't long for the pitch-dark world of Twisted Metal Black. His only choice in this dark world was to either watch as his soul erodes from the unending torrent of rushing blackness, or exit early as a hero with his soul intact. He made the right choice, or rather, the only choice that pure intentions would allow. One thing to note is that in early versions of his story, the reason for his indiscriminate violence was not simple cop rage, just a man mad at the world for allowing the criminal element to take over. No, it was much, much darker. The gang that Agent Stone and his SWAT team were after was not some nebulous collection of generic bad guys. They were very explicitly described as a white supremacist group.
Their kind of thinking, their kind of hate, it was ruining our country.
The same awful, unforgivable piles of human garbage that set fire to his childhood home with his parents inside. His rage was not a momentary lack of judgment because bad guys are bad. They were a very specific brand of evil that he has a deeply personal and horrific history with. His rage was understood. His actions were believable. It's not a huge surprise that the original version of the story was cut and censored, as the subject matter strayed a bit too dark, even for a game like Twisted Metal Black. But I do prefer the darker version. A man traumatized by and brought up in a world where his parents and his innocence were taken from him by a monstrous group of subhuman trash is deeply upsetting, but it's powerful, it's believable. It makes you want to run through a brick wall to give Agent Stone what he wants. And given that the entire game takes place within the mind of Sweet Tooth, either as a projection of his shattered, demented psyche onto the world around him, or contained all within his imagination, it's not a stretch to imagine the characters and environments are largely representative of his thoughts, feelings, and perceptions towards the people, places, and things that surround him. Peering in through the funhouse mirror lens of Needle's veil of perception, I think that Agent Stone could represent Sweet Tooth's thoughts about police or law enforcement, and more specifically their futile efforts to bring chaos to order. While in the line of duty, Agent Stone made a mistake he can't accept and move on from. He took a life that he didn't mean to, because he let the world blind him with rage. Now his life can't continue until he rights what he believes is his greatest wrong. But Sweet Tooth could be using his story to represent the idea that believing things must be made right and perfect to be able to come to terms with reality only leads to failure and disappointment. That the ideas of law and order and justice are just as much inside the minds of man alone as the world of Twisted Metal Black is inside the mind of Sweet Tooth. And to try to force the universe to sit perfectly balanced on the scales of your personal morality comes at a cost. Agent Stone is Sweet Tooth's lesson in accepting that chaos is the order. No badge nor good intentions can change that. Law is man's way to reason with a universe that was never meant to be reasoned with, and there is no universe less willing to be reasoned with than that of Twisted Metal Black. And that's the way I understand the story of Agent Stone. Make sure to like this video and put in the comments what you think about Agent Stone or the character Outlaw in all the games, maybe how they can connect. Give me your theories and interpretations and whatever other crazy thoughts you have about this character or this game. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a blast to cover these characters so far, and let me know who you want to see next. Make sure to smash up that subscribe button, and have a great day.